Hey everybody, Jim Powers with the High School Sports Caravan, and joining me is John Huff from Gateway Sports Venue. And every week we are going to be putting together for you a little bit of a talk show type deal, or just two guys talking high school sports. We're starting this week. It'll be on highschoolsportscaravan.com, John's website, and also the Big 550K TRS. So we're really excited. And John, you've done some great work over the last couple years. You know, what's your takeaway so far in the early part of the season as we come into the midway point of the season? What's some of your takeaways moving forward?
Well, I think we definitely got some surprises with like Lindbergh. They're 4-0. They just beat Hazelwood Central. But, I think what started out week one was that there's a lot of notable injuries going on with like John Burroughs, Lutheran South right here as well with Cody Schrader, then Ladue, but most notably CBC with, arguably one of the best players, Cameron Babb, getting in the Midwest maybe, getting injured. He's out for the season. So, some injuries, but that's also, allowed in some parity, because there's not really a definite number one right now, because like there's Vianney, Kirkwood, CBC, and Eureka. So that's what it's been like, but it makes it all the more fun, really.
You see, and that's the thing that I've been saying is, I made the comment after Kirkwood lost this past Friday night to Pattonville. Nobody in the state of Missouri wants number one right now in Class 6. I mean, we've seen 4 different weeks, 4 different number ones. Park Hill now gets number one, and it just really seems like, especially in 6, the parity around the state, and especially over on the KC side, it's a gauntlet out there. And over here, you've got maybe 5 teams that are going to really challenge. So I think Class 6, you can put about 10 names in a hat, pick them, and that's who's going to be out down in Springfield.
Yeah, because there's so much depth there.
Yeah.
I mean, you got, Pattonville, they're not even Class 6. They're Class 5, and they beat Kirkwood, a Class 6 team. But, for teams like Lafayette and Lindbergh, I think they have some, newfound hope that, hey, you know what? We're not going to, like, lose in the second round or first round or whatever to CBC or Hazelwood Central or Kirkwood. So that's what makes it really fun.
And then you jump down to Class 5, Vianney right now.
Yeah.
You look at what they're doing, what Zumwalt North is doing. Boy, I tell you what, that state semifinal, if it comes to fruition, boy, is that going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, with, Zumwalt North, I got to see them play against Ladue, and, they don't have Cade Brister anymore, but Jack Ederer has done a great job, and it's just, that system is just so great. I mean, if you're athletic and you're quarterback, you're going to do well, and the X factor for them is that they got athletes, and I'm going to make a prediction, say that they go undefeated the rest of the way, and, I strongly think they'll get out of their district.
So you think they could beat CBC in a couple weeks?
CBC, no, I don't know yet. So
I think I tell you what though, I think that may be on the level where we saw the CBC Chaminade game last year for at least 3 quarters until CBC pushed it out a little bit. But I'm going to tell you, I think the game of the year very well could be CBC Vianney.
It could be. In Vianney, Cam Coleman, he went to IMG Academy, and they're doing just fine without him. 4-0. They really impressed me against Providence Catholic out in the Chicago area, and then and just Tion Harris, he's probably maybe the most exciting quarterback to watch in the area. He's a little inconsistent at times with what he does. He just scrambles and finds guys. But, and also Kyron Williams, I got to mention him. He's arguably the best athlete in the area by far.
I love Harris and how he has grown. Yeah. You saw him last year at the beginning of the year struggle. And you know what, once again, I go back to in week 6, I said there's no way Vianney is going to make a deep run. All of a sudden, they just go and go. And Harris was the ringleader for that group. And the best thing, too, he fits into the Paul Day offense.
He does.
You saw what Day ran at Zumwalt West with those great teams, and now he's brought it to Vianney. I still thought they were a year away. This year was going to be the year. Yeah. But, boy, those guys just bought in, and what they're doing is just terrific stuff.
Yeah, last year, I'm not calling myself an expert, but – I think they were 1-4 at one point, but they had a brutal schedule. Yeah. So I'm thinking, if they can just put it together, get some results, they're going to be, a really tough team to beat. And, they beat Chaminade, and after they beat Chaminade that year, I thought, okay, they're good. I think they should win state.
Class 4, it seems like Webb City's back. They, all's right in the world after a year off. But you look on the St. Louis side, Parkway North, Parkway Central. Ladue, I mean, there is just such a balance right there. And Parkway North making a quarterback change, they have been hitting on all cylinders since that point.
Yeah, well, Parkway North, I mean, I think that was one of the most shocking results, to be honest. I mean, as good as Parkway Central is, I mean, Parkway North, they have so many good athletes with Jason Hawkins, C.J. Boone, Jacob Abel at wide receiver, Jaquil Suber at running back, and then Cameron Beaudry, a sophomore. He's stepped in, and he's just really good at throwing the ball, and that's what all they have to do. And then, you look at Parkway Central, Arthur Green, Arkansas State commits, and then DeAndre Campbell, who probably he's one of the top 10 athletes in Class 4 for basketball and football. And then, Ladue, just injury-riddled first half of the season, but with Jordan Jackson and Jalen Sykes, 2 first-team All-Staters. I mean, that's so rare, but they got those guys back, and they're going to be really tough come districts.
And I still love Michael Thompson from Parkway North.
Yes.
He is by far, in my mind, athletically on the defensive side, the best athlete defensively here in the St. Louis area, if not in the state of Missouri. He is just a beast up front.
He really is a beast, but, I mean, that's a big call. I mean, because you got Trevor Trout and Ronnie Perkins from Chaminade and Luther North, respectively. But that just kind of shows you how I guess blessed we are in this area with 3 top 100 recruits that are all defensive linemen.
Trevor Trout going to take a visit out to Southern Cal. He announced that earlier this week on Twitter. Really, I think those 3 guys can go any place that they want to go to.
Yeah, literally. I mean, I think they all have at least over 30 scholarship offers, if not more. I mean, I think going into the season, Ronnie Perkins had 48.
Yeah.
That's just unheard of. But, it's a great time to be in St. Louis and to watch those guys play.
Let's jump down to Class 2. We know it's a 2-horse race.
Yeah.
You throw Lamar in down south. We know that that's a given.
Yeah.
But then you look up here, and it's a shame that it's going to be a district final.
Oh, gosh.
But Trinity, they're going to have to sit another week. When you look at their record, it's going to say 5-0.
Yeah.
They've only played 3 games. Bishop DeBerg has canceled their game for this week with them due to injuries. But talking to Corey Patterson the other night, it's like, we just got to stay healthy, take care of our business, and things will work out.
This Trinity team is just absolutely loaded. I mean, people have said that, hey, they could play with any school, in the area. Well, I think roster for roster, I think that's a different thing. But, I mean, if you go 11v11 with, let's say, like unlimited energy and they go the whole game, yeah, you have that argument. And, they're just loaded with athletes and still a young team. I mean, they don't have a whole lot of seniors. So, a lot of sophomores and juniors are kind of leading that team. And, Isaiah Williams can go anywhere he wants, but I believe the only school that's offering him as a quarterback is Illinois. So we'll see if where he'll end up there.
And then Lutheran North, obviously, Carl's got the guys just playing really well right now. And Ronnie Perkins, and no disrespect when I say that MT is the number 1 defensive player, but Ronnie is such a dynamic player on the defensive side.
Defensive side, he just plugs up all those holes, and plus he could be a really good tight end as well. He's used there too, but absolute beast. And then Lutheran North, I got to talk about their results. I mean, they've just crushed everybody they've played, and I was even there when they played Evansville Mater Dei, and I mean, it was only a 3-touchdown game, but it seemed like Lutheran North kind of had it in the bag the whole time. And I love their new offense that they're running, just kind of a wing T type offense. Getting Donovan Marshall, Cannon Brooks, and Nick Lotz all those touches. It's you see it. I mean, there's 50 points almost every game.
Yeah, they are just. I mean, you talk about 2 offenses, and I go back to a couple years. Last year was the last time in the St. Louis area we've talked about Class 2. Before last year, before this year, we never have. We've never had a dominant team even come close in Class 2, and now all of a sudden we got 2 of them, and I think it could be that way for quite a few years.
It could be. I mean, Lutheran North and Trinity are both really popular programs, and and then Lutheran North for a long time they were in Class 3, and they've had a good program for a long time, and then Trinity they've kind of come out of nowhere these past couple years. I mean, for a long time, I mean they did not have a great program. No. I think like junior year when I was in high school, my junior year, I think that was their first ever year that they had a winning season, and then it's been upward since then.
Well, you look to what Corey Patterson's brought to the table up there. Just a dynamic young coach that's got a great offensive mind, and he's utilizing the guys to their strengths. And that's what you love about the young head coaches here in the St. Louis area. They're not coming in trying to run their own stuff. They're building their offenses and defenses around these great young players.
Yeah, Corey Patterson, I mean, one of the better coaches in the area for sure. I mean, I mean, we've seen coaches who, maybe just don't know how to work out, big time talent. But I mean, he's obviously, got the skills and coaching skills, and this is the right mindset to coach all these really good players, and to keep them humble as well. I mean, just think about it. I mean, you're a teenager. You have all these offers. You're thinking you got it made. He's obviously doing something right by keeping these players level headed.
Absolutely. This week, not a big week game-wise, but there's a few out there that we can talk about.
Yeah, I mean, I just tweeted out on Gateway Sports. I mean, I got 5 games of the week. I mean, if you can dig a little harder if you want to find some more, but I think for me the game of the week is Chaminade at Vianney.
Yeah.
I mean, Chaminade, they're a young team. They've surprised. I mean, despite how good they've been. I mean, you're a young team. The Metro League, it's never easy at all. But they're 2-2. I mean, they can give Vianney a really good game. And then there's Kirkwood at Parkway North.
Yep.
I want to say Parkway North, but I just don't see Kirkwood losing 2 games in a row.
Yeah, and you look at the gauntlet now that Kirkwood's got to come through, and in knowing Coach Farrell Shelton,
yeah,
I think he's okay with it. I mean, with a loss to Pattonville, yeah, you kind of, okay, that shouldn't happen. Yeah. But you got to remember, they ripped off 15 straight wins.
Yeah.
A loss every now and then is okay.
It's good. I mean, I think it's personally better if you lose a game. I mean, it's great to go undefeated, but I think it's better if you lose a game in the season. You're set up for better playoff success. I mean, I've seen it with teams at every levels. If you're undefeated, I mean, you could have a padded schedule where it's easy and you don't really play much in the second halves, and then that can affect you in the playoffs. But that's a good loss for them. They'll learn for it, and they're going to be tougher to beat now.
Awesome stuff. Where can people find your stuff online?
GatewaySportsVenue.com. I'm on Twitter and Instagram and have a YouTube page as well. Just type in Gateway Sports Venue, and that's all I need to go pretty much.
Awesome stuff. John will be joining me every week as we talk about football right now. And then once we get into basketball, we'll be in the basketball mode. But follow John. Follow us at highschoolsportscaravan.com, at HS Sports Caravan. Also, you'll be able to follow a lot of great content on the Big 550 KTRS's website, as we're going to be unveiling a lot of great stuff every week. Top 10 polls. Our player of the week this week was Cody Schrader from right here at Lutheran South. So a lot of great content we're going to be putting up on the Big 550 KTRS and on both of our websites. I want to thank Mark Litterman and the folks at Lutheran South for letting us film here today. We'll be at another high school next week as we bring you more conversation about high school preps right here on highschoolsportscaravan.com, Gateway Sports Venue, and the Big 550 KTRS. Thanks so much for tuning in.